Am I the asshole for refusing to help my neighbor and her two young children when their wipers were frozen? I, 59 man, live in a major city in Ontario, Canada. I live in a small subdivision and have 5 neighbors total on my street. For the past few years during the winter when we're getting a lot of snow or bad storms, as I'm leaving for my overnight shift at around 8 to 9 p.m., I'll put my wife's windshield wipers up on her car and do a quick walk around to my other 5 neighbors and put their windshield wipers up on their cars, obviously not if they're outside or something, but if it looks like they're in for the night. Many of them forget to do this, as many of them have children and it typically slips their mind, and their wipers will be frozen to their car in the morning. It's just something nice I like to do to look out for my neighbors. They're all always grateful of this and thank me for it. Many of them started doing it too, and there will be nights where I'll forget to put mine and my wife's up, and in the morning one of the neighbors has done it for us. Anyway, recently one of our neighbors moved and a new family moved in as of last week. It's a young couple and their 2 young children. The other night I was leaving for my overnight shift at around 9 p.m. It was snowing really heavy and we were supposed to be getting almost 30 centimeters of snow and it was freezing out. So I put my wife's wipers up and do my usual quick walk around to the other neighbors. I was hesitant when I reached my new neighbor's house, as I've only introduced myself once, but did it anyway. As I was putting the second wiper up on their pickup truck, the husband came charging out of his front door yelling, "Hey, what the F***ck are you doing to my truck?" I tried to explain to him I was just putting his wipers up to help him. He continued to scream at me to get the hell off my property and don't touch my shit again. The wife then came out and started yelling at me too. I apologized and started walking away. Some of my other neighbors heard the commotion and came outside to see what was happening. They tried explaining to him too that it's just something we do. Both of them wasn't having it. Fast forward to this morning, I'm arriving home from my overnight shift, and as I'm walking in I see the wife of this couple struggling outside to break the ice off the windshield wipers of the truck. Guess she was trying to take her kids to school and the wipers were frozen solid on the car. She sees me and yells over, "Hey there. Do you mind giving me a hand, please?" I look over to her and yell back, "No sorry, thought I was to never touch your shit again, ma'am," and walk back inside. She yelled back at me, "Wow, told my wife about this. She thinks I should have helped her because she was just trying to get her kids to school. I disagree, as I was just following what they told me. AITA? Am I the asshole for not giving my sister her wedding dress because she didn't invite my underage son? I, 40 man, have a sister, 30F, who is getting married in a week. The groom proposed to her a year ago at a family dinner that left everyone speechless, but very happy for them as they are longtime companions. During this dinner, my sister asked my son, 17M, to make her wedding dress. My son has always loved design and fashion. He took technical courses in these areas and sewing, and even his friends keep asking for his clothes because they are so beautiful. He agreed, but said that he needed time and that he would need her opinion constantly. At first my sister was very annoying. My son drew about 50 dress designs in a month and she only liked one, which he continued with. He sewed it with great quality fabric, which I paid for as I wanted to get involved in a certain way. For 5 months he made several adjustments to suit her wishes, as she always complained about something. After a while, he arrived at the final model and it was just amazing. My mother cried seeing my sister in the dress, and I confess that I almost got emotional too. The problem was that last week my son came to talk to me about the wedding invitation that had not arrived for him, but for other family members. I thought maybe he didn't need one, but it still felt weird. I messaged my sister raising this issue, and she replied that she didn't want any underage people at her wedding because there would be alcohol. I asked if she was going to make an exception for my son, but she cut me off and said no. There are no children in our family. My son is the only minor, so I didn't see any sense in this rule for family members. And to make matters worse, My son was very sad and cried because he spent months on this dress and couldn't go to the wedding. I was very upset and told my sister that she should look for another dress as soon as possible, as she would no longer wear the one my son made. She called and yelled at me, saying I was being unreasonable and that I couldn't do this. My mother called me saying I should deliver the dress and follow the rules, but I didn't and hung up on her. Because of this, the family is divided. Many agree with me and condemn my sister's actions, saying she could only make an exception, but another part says I'm unreasonable and I'm spoiling her big day. I don't think I'm being wrong, but just rational and paying her back in kind. So AITA? Am I the asshole for telling my dad's girlfriend the truth about why I have limited contact with them? I'm number 2 of 4 sisters. I had a good childhood in terms of having good food to eat, nice clothes, education, etc. I didn't have a good childhood in terms of a loving environment. My dad screamed at mom all the time, called her names, compared us to other kids. These are just a couple of things, there's a lot more. And of course he was always right, he could never be wrong. He did a lot of charity and helped other people, so mom would always say what a good guy he is and we should be grateful for him. Me and my sisters also managed to ignore everything when we were younger and didn't know better. A few years ago there was a situation, I don't know how else to put it, with my older sister that finally made mom take off her rose-colored glasses and she filed for divorce. I have limited contact with him now. He has a new girlfriend who he's been with for about a year. I've met her once and she did seem nice, but I just don't want much to do with him. Not that long ago his girlfriend made me asking if I'd like to meet up with her for coffee and she wanted to talk to me. So I said okay and we had lunch a few days ago. She asked me why I'm so distant from dad and if it's something she did, or if she made us feel uncomfortable and she would like to get to know us and clear the air. I said it's not anything like that and not to do with her. I eventually told her about what type of dad he was, how he treated my mom, all that. She seemed sort of shocked at first and I think she thought I was exaggerating. I didn't really know what to say, so I just replied this is what he was like with us, and this is why I limit contact. She obviously talked to dad about this and he called me, asking why I said that to his girlfriend. I replied she asked for the truth, so I told her the truth, but he said he's upset I tried to make him look bad, and I'm one-sided. I wouldn't care what he thinks, but my younger sister thinks I shouldn't have told her all of that and just let them be, so, AITA?
Am I the asshole for not building a ramp to our house for disabled nephew? My wife and I recently bought a new house. After we closed on the house, my sister came to see it and asked when we would like her husband to install a ramp. The ramp is for her son, who is in a wheelchair. He and other nieces and nephew used to come over to our old house all the time to hang out with our kids. My sister's husband, who works in construction, previously installed a ramp in our old house as well as my brother's house because he and my sister want their son to feel welcome in everyone's home. Our previous house was very standard and installing a ramp was easy. This new house, however, sits up high, which means it needs a very long ramp. After measuring according to specifications, we've realized that we cannot install a ramp unless we get rid of some of our home's features. Our front yard is a tiered garden. It is my wife's favorite feature as she is an avid gardener. We probably would not have bought this house if not for the garden, as we had our eye on another. If we built a ramp leading to the front door, it would cover the majority of the tiered garden. The only other option is the side door. We do not have a back door. The side door, however, leads directly into the driveway that goes up alongside the house to the garage in the back. If we built a ramp in this area, it would make the driveway too narrow for many of our vehicles. We have very limited parking on our street, so we would basically lose half our driveway parking. I also wouldn't be able to get my old muscle car in the garage where I had planned on storing it. I've explained this to my sister and she is unhappy about our reasonings, especially the one for the front door. She says she gets the parking problem, But the garden is just a cosmetic thing and not worth making her son feel unwanted or like a second thought. Other family is also unhappy because now our house is unusable for family parties since nephew won't be able to come. We do family parties on a rotating system between me and my brothers since we're the only ones with big enough homes. I said we could do the family parties out in the backyard in the summer. It's big and has a lot of trees and a large canopy area where we can put some nice outside furniture and barbecue. The garage also has a bathroom that is accessible, so it shouldn't be a problem for nephew to come so long as everyone hangs out outside. They think it's unreasonable because it will be too hot to stay outside the whole time and people will need air conditioning. If they go inside to cool down, nephew will feel left out. My brother also doesn't like that the burden is now on him to always host. Especially since he will always have to host for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which are the most hectic holidays. Am I the asshole for not getting more involved in my daughter's college fund situation? I have 2 children, a daughter Sam, 17F, and a son, 19M, and I have always made sure that their education is a top priority. My son is already off at school and doing very well, and Sam was accepted into her desired college school and program. My mom promised to pay for her entire education a long time ago, including tuition and accommodation. Everyone was overjoyed with this. However, after my divorce several years ago, Sam started to prioritize my ex-wife's family during every season. Sam decided to visit her mom's side of the family instead of spending time with mine. We always told there's a lot more people there and the food is so much better. Can't argue with the fact that her extended family was there, but I don't think an hour with grandparents is asking too much. This all upset my mother and strained their relationship. 2 weeks ago, she called me to tell me that she would no longer be paying for Sam's education. She felt that Sam had put her own family second and didn't treat her like she mattered at all. I hate to say it, but I also can't argue with that. Since then, Sam has taken full view of what college is going to look like for her. She will likely need to rethink her dream school and major. On top of that, the loans will be an anchor in her life. She asked me to help, and I certainly will when I can, but when her mother and I divorced, she got all the college accounts and used that to fund her house. This is old news, but I feel very relevant. While I feel bad for my daughter, I do not feel responsible for my mother's actions. She made the choice to stop supporting Sam's education, and I cannot force her to change her mind. I have spoken to my mother and tried to reason with her, but she is firm in her decision. I have also told Sam that she brought this on herself for treating her grandmother less than the rest of her family. Sam is understandably upset and feels like she is being punished for wanting to spend time with her mom's side of the family. However, I believe that she is old enough to understand the consequences of her actions and make decisions for herself. As a parent, I have always taught my children to take responsibility for their choices, and I feel that this situation is no different. So, Reddit, am I the asshole here? Should have I gotten more involved? Am I the asshole for refusing to help mend my son's and his mom's relationship? I married the Wicked Witch of the East, and the only good thing that came out of that was my son Jeremy is now 16. My ex and I fought hard over custody and other stuff. Ironically, she made herself unavailable for parenting when everything was said and done. Literally every picture or video she has of our son that isn't a school or sports picture has whatever man she was with at that time. Basically, I raised my son as a single dad from the time he was 8. I did remarry, and I'm happy that my son sees how couples are to respect and honor each other. There was a lot of tension brewing between my ex and my son as he started to see her for what she really is. It exploded when she posted a picture of him and her and wrote this horrible post filled with lies about me and my wife. For example, she claimed I cheated on her with my current wife when I did not even meet my current wife until a year after we divorced. My son is very close with my wife and his half-brothers. my son lost his shit on her and told her not to contact him. He hasn't replied to her texts or voicemails or emails. At first she digged in on her lies saying it was her truth, but she forgives me for things I didn't do. My son still didn't bite and now told her not to come to his sporting games when they start. Well, I just passed the message. My ex is now telling me that it's on me to help her mend their relationship. I said I want nothing to do with her either. Her attack on me was because I don't have to pay her child support anymore and her husband left her. I'm letting my son decide who he wants to talk or not talk to. I don't believe this is all about defending me as much as my son was embarrassed by his mom airing dirty laundry on IG. I have zero interest in being the nice guy. I believe in letting my ex reap what she sowed. I'm her enemy and I'm not going to, and I'm not obligated to help her. Am I the asshole for pointing out hypocritical rules at my sister's wedding? My sister, 28F, got married 1 week ago. I, 26F, have a son, for M, who is the only grandchild on my side of the family. Everyone loves him and he loves his aunt. During early wedding planning, my sister suggested that she wanted to have a kid-free wedding, but I didn't think she was serious as it was so early on. Then, when the invitations came out, I saw on the FAQ page that this was, in fact, a kid-free wedding. I talked to our mother about it and how I was shocked, but she stayed neutral and I didn't talk to anyone else about it. Now I am not one to start fights, so I obliged and found a babysitter. I was a bit upset, but I tried to still be supportive. The wedding day comes and my fiancé and I take our seats and wait for the ceremony to start. While waiting, I see my cousin sit behind us with her 3-year-old daughter. I was shocked. It was made very clear to everyone about the no-kid rule, so I was sure that my family, who adores my sister, would tell my cousin something. Instead, everyone said hi to them and talked about how cute the child was. I was appalled and knew my sister would be upset. At the reception, I went up to my mom and asked her what she thought of my cousin branding her child. My mom said that it didn't matter that much and that we should all just let it go. But I was furious. How was this fair at all? At one point during the wedding, my cousin, sister, and I went to go take a photo at the photo booth area. After the photo, I turned to my cousin and jokingly said, I guess kid-free wedding means different things to different people. My cousin was shocked and looked at my sister, and my sister told me to knock it off and that everything was fine. I told her, why should I? I followed the rules and left my son at home. My sister told me to calm down and I told her I was calm, just confused. I guess we drew attention from some of the other guests and my mother came over and pulled me aside. She told me to stop causing a scene and I said I'm not causing a scene, but simply asking why different rules apply to different people. My sister came over and told me to stop and that I was ruining her special day. I couldn't believe it. My fiancé and I left because I could not stand to be in the same room as my sister then. Ever since the wedding, my mom has been telling me to apologize. I keep telling her that my sister should apologize to me. I haven't spoken to my sister since and I don't plan on it until I get an apology. Am I the asshole? Edit. People keep saying that I should not have brought this up at the wedding. But when should I have brought it up? It seems worse to bring it up after the fact, doesn't it? Edit 2. To be clear, I originally wasn't mad at my sister. I was upset at my cousin and slightly upset at my family for not saying anything when they saw the child. I didn't want a fight to happen, just for them to hold her accountable. However, I got upset at my sister when she got mad at me for bringing it up. I feel like I deserve to let my cousin know how I really felt and I wanted my sister's support since I followed the rules.